Are you using your credit in the right way? Or are you using your credit the wrong way? In today's video, guys, I'm going to talk to you about some of the ways that you could be using your credit in the wrong way that's going to get you in financial trouble. And then I'm going to talk to you about the correct ways that you can use your credit in order to make you money. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. So welcome back to Starr Personal Finance channel. On this channel, guys, I talk personal financial education. So if this is your first time joining me, please consider being a subscriber. Make sure you guys are cutting on your notification. That way you don't miss out on any new content. And give this video a thumbs up. That way it gets pushed out to more viewers that might need to see this as well. Thank you so much. Let's get into today's video. So credit is one of those things that it could be a really good tool for a lot of great things that can help you make money, as I was saying, and also help you acquire some things that might be out of your reach. But credit can also have a major downside if you're not using credit in the correct manner and its intended way of it being used. So let's talk about some of those incorrect ways before we get into some of the things that you can do the right way with your credit. So the first way that you could be using your credit in the incorrect way is over leveraging. I talked about this in a live, how your good credit can be a bad thing. When you over leverage yourself with your credit, meaning that you take on way more debt than you can afford to repay back in a timely manner without carrying a balance on your credit cards and stuff like that, that's how you get into financial trouble. Because sometimes when we are using our credit cards, as I was saying in that live, we don't have a physical connection to the credit because it's not our money. When you're using your debit card, it's connected to your actual bank account, so you have a deeper connection with your debit card than you do with a plastic credit card. That's somebody else's money. So it can cause you to over leverage. So if it causes you to over leverage, that's when having good credit and using your credit can be a bad thing. Number two is unnecessary spending. It can cause you to spend unnecessary. Again, over leveraging, living above your means, using debt as a way to fund your lifestyle. You never want to do that. You only want to use your credit for things that you can repay. Number three, you never want to use your credit for risky investments. Like, you don't want to use your credit to get money to like buy into cryptocurrency or stuff like that that is not guaranteed to give you a return on that investment. So you never want to use your credit for any type of risky investment or putting your money into something that has not proven to give you a return. Another way that can be a negative way of using your good credit is if you are co-signing on loans. You got to be really, really careful when you co-sign for other people that don't have good credit or are new to credit, because you will be on the hook to pay that loan back, whatever it is. If it's a car loan or whatever, you're going to be on the hook. If not, your credit is going to take a hit from that. So you just always want to make sure that if you do co-sign for somebody, that they are trustworthy and that they will have the means and the income, the significant income to be able to repay whatever it is that you co-sign, because you do not want to be on the hook for it. Another negative way that you could be using your credit is if you're frequently getting 0% APR cards to transfer balances, because really and truly what you're doing is you're just moving debt around, and eventually you won't be able to continue to keep doing that. And once those promotional periods are over, then you are stuck with a high interest rate for that amount that you transferred. So that's never a good idea unless you're able to pay those intro APR, whatever it is that you transfer. If you're not able to pay it off in that set time that they give you, then it's not a good thing. So you definitely do not want to get in a cycle of debt with 0% APR cards. Another negative way that people are using their credit is when they are using their credit instead of building a savings. So you're using somebody else's money in lieu of building an emergency fund, or even having 3 to 6 months of your life expenses in a savings. That will get you in debt. Okay, there's no way around it. If you're using somebody else's money as your own money and you don't have the money yourself, then it's not a good thing. I'm not opposed to you having a credit card set aside for emergencies, but you always want to make sure that you have the actual cash to pay that card back off if emergency was to come up. Because sometimes when emergency come up, you may not have access to get to the savings account where your money is. You may be on the road somewhere. So having a credit card with you for those type of things is fine, but you want to make sure that you have the cash so that you can pay that card back off whenever you're able to get back to your financial institution. Never, ever, ever want to use your credit for gambling. Like, you don't never ever want to use credit for gambling. That's a whole nother addiction. You never want to do that. Some people do, they use their credit. I look at credit when you're using credit for cryptocurrency. To me, that's gambling, right? So you never want to use your money for stuff like that, especially your credit. Another negative way that you could be using your credit is just taking out multiple loans at one time. That goes back to that live I just did. If you over leverage yourself and you got too much going on because your credit is good and you're getting approved for a lot of things, eventually it's going to catch up with you. Those payments is going to get overwhelming. That's how people end up with delinquencies, collections, and even bankruptcy. So you never want to do that with your credit. You never want to get way more credit than you can afford to pay. And some people even ignore repayment plans. You want to make sure that if you do take out multiple loans, you need to make sure that you already have your finances well managed on a budget, where that you have a repayment plan so that you know how long it's going to take you to pay those things back off. If y'all need a budget, I have a digital budgeter down at the bottom, a spreadsheet. It's in my store right here on my YouTube channel that you can download now for $4.99. And lastly, you never, ever, ever want to use your credit card for non-essential items. So you never want to use your credit card because you're going to happy hour or you want to go on vacation or all those things. You can use your card for those things, but you got to make sure that you have the cash to pay it right back. You don't want to use it to fund your life. As I was saying before, you never want to use it to fund things that you actually cannot afford. That's never a good look, and it will lead to debt. So now that we talked about some negative ways people use their credit, let's talk about some positive ways that you can use your credit in order to make you some money. Some positive ways that you can use it. First off, you can use it to invest in real estate, and that can make you money. You could do fix and flips and stuff like that if you got good credit, because you could get a pretty decent interest rate. Now, I know right now our interest rates are kind of high with our Fed rate hikes, but in a favorable market, in a favorable economy, you can use your credit to actually build wealth through real estate. So that's a great way, because you could either be a landlord or you can do fix and flips, like I was saying, or you can invest in other real estate with other investors. But if you have good credit, that's a way that you can make you money. So you're gaining an asset instead of creating a liability. Another positive way is through credit card rewards. So I'm not opposed to people using their credit cards as long as they're responsible. As long as you can pay off every single month whatever it is that you charge and not accrue any interest, that is a great way to combat inflation, because you can get cash back, you can get free travel, you can get a whole lot of different things with your points on your credit cards. Like, for instance, me and my husband, we're going on a trip next week for our birthday, and we're not going to have to pay anything for our actual hotel stay because we're going to pay for it through our credit card points. We'll only have to pay for our food, and if we decide to buy any souvenirs or something like that, but our hotel stay is going to be covered through our credit card points. But we pay our balances off every single month to avoid paying interest. So you want to do that, and that is a way to make money, because those points can add up, but you just got to be responsible. Another positive way that you can use your credit is to build your business. That's what I did. Once I got out of debt, my debt journey and my whole debt story that I talked about on my channel, once I was able to get out of that crippling debt, I was able to actually start my business. So that's where I'm at now. I'm sitting inside of my brick and mortar candle shop, and I am able to live my life the way I want to now on my own terms, because I was able to use my credit in order to buy back my time from jobs I didn't want to do. Even though I was in banking, I still wanted to work for myself. So it's one of those things that it actually helps you buy back your time if you're using your credit the right way, because you could get low interest loans, you can get good credit cards with that. So your personal credit can really help you set up yourself for a business if you want to have a business. Another thing that you probably never thought about is, if you have good credit and you're using it in the right way, you can negotiate some of your insurance. So like, if you have high insurance on cars and stuff like that you might have gotten when your credit wasn't that good, you can always go back and renegotiate your insurance and those type of things with your good credit. And this is going to free up money. If your premiums go down, you'll be able to free up money to invest or put into your savings. As I was saying before about real estate investing, you can also build up your real estate portfolio with home equity lines of credit and those type of things that can help you get even more properties for yourself. So you want to make sure that you're using your credit where it can make you more money. We want assets, we don't want liabilities. Just like my candle says, assets over liabilities equals wealth. Okay. You can also use your good credit to refinance some bad debts that you might have had before your credit got on track, or to help you get your credit on track, you can always look at refinancing. It's going to save you some money by refinancing. Like, say you got a car when your credit wasn't that good and now you want to get a better interest rate, or say you got your mortgage when the rates were high and you want to get a better interest rates. Those are some of the best things that you can do with your credit when it comes to refinancing. But you just want to be careful to make sure that you can afford any of the new payments or anything like that. You just want to make sure that you're not over leveraging, like we talked about earlier in the video. And lastly, you can use your good credit to invest in stocks and stuff like that if you feel led to. You know, some of them have low margin brokerage loans that you can look into your brokerage about. So that can be another way to gain assets that can make you money. But you just want to make sure that you talk to your financial professional about that, like a financial advisor. But that is another option to make money through your credit. So, coming to the conclusion of this video, I just want to make sure, guys, that y'all are just being responsible with your credit, because credit is an awesome tool. You can do a lot of great things with it, but it also can be a bad thing if you're not responsible and not understanding exactly how it all ties into your finances. If you need any help, if you want any one-on-one consultations, y'all can find out all the information about that down in the description box and also in the pinned comment. I'd love to work with you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you check out these next ones.